We're going to take a look at a showing we found about 8 months ago. Gold, silver, copper, lead, zinc, cadmium are the primary elements in this deposit of value. And right here in the middle of this logging road we have a porphyritic rock, and it's gossinous in some areas. There's iron pyrite. There's also green volcanic rock as you go into the road over here. We just spent an hour and a half digging this out and breaking a few rocks. You can see all this off here. And we cleaned it off a little bit, and what we wanted to do is we're going to take our bar and break into this and show you guys what kind of mineral we're getting out of this. This is a 5-meter stretch that we've cleared off. And as you can see, it's mineralized. You got some barite in there as well. This is primarily sphalerite. You got some galena mixed in there. And on the occasional sample, you'll get some chalcopyrite and iron pyrite as well. So some of these samples are really nice. Some of them are virtually nothing. Here's your green volcanics, band of barite through there. You can see all this right here. This is actually sphalerite. First round of hammering, this is what we've come up with. Some really nice looking samples. This is definitely high grade sphalerite for sure. You got some galena in there as well, some barite. And this is just a solid, massive sulfides here. Some very, very beautiful. Some of our initial assays, the zinc values were exceeding 25%. So this is what we got so far, and we're going to break a bunch more off. We'll see what comes out of those samples. Our first big chunk here we're pulling off. So there's some mineral on these. What we want to do is get to this area here because that's all mineralized. So we've ripped into this pretty good. We removed a whole bunch from here. There was a small thin vein behind it of sphalerite and galena with minor chalcopyrite. What it's looking like is all these areas where you can see the oxidation, all the staining from your minerals. It's making its way through cracks and through little areas like this where it's deposited inside these little fractures. And this right here had mineral along it in a thin layer. So what we've kind of deduced is you have a showing which is underneath this right here, underneath this host rock, and it's exposed here on the floor. You have a bit higher grade ore. Doesn't look like much, but this right here is probably going to run a good 10% zinc. So we've pulled off samples. We even found it over here as well as down there. So this is a pretty long showing where it's exposed. We don't know which way it's running. We think it's running this way, but it's hard to tell. Sphalerite will have some galena values as well. This right here is all just solid mineral. More solid mineral. And all this was pulled out of right here. You can see this layer off here where it's come through the crack or fracture in the rock. So some really nice samples, and some of the things that we're seeing are pretty interesting because you see lots of malachite and azurite staining in some of the pieces. So there obviously is a pretty decent presence of copper sulfides. Any I'm seeing are chalcopyrite. So basically another hunk of solid mineral here. And these are just really deteriorated, so it's kind of hard to fully see the mineral there. Got more here. This is your green volcanics, your barite. There's some calcite in there too, and a little bit of silicous rock. Going over here, you can see again, you have more exposed all along in here. These are some of the samples that we pulled out from this area. And these are very, very beautiful. Very good grade. I would say for zinc at the least. This piece right here is another chunk that I just pulled off down here, where it started to be exposed on the floor. More samples from there. And here's some chalcopyrite. First kind of obvious amount. You can see the sphalerite. Everything's so deteriorated too, so it's a little bit difficult to tell sometimes. Here's the piece that I just pulled from right down there. And you can see the mineral there. Just broke that in half, and you can see it's not fully mineralizing your rock. You got your volcanics here, and this is a band of sphalerite, minor galena, about 3-4 centimeters thick. You can see it right here all over the bottom as well. And this is going to easily run high 20% for zinc. Here's some more samples, just random ones with a little bit of pyrite. Down in here we shaved a little bit off the wall here, and you can see again more mineral. And that was pulled from right in here. This is another one I just pulled right out of there. And you can see the sphalerite there. This is actually pretty dense, so I'm going to hammer this open. Take a look at that. That's a solid hunk of very fine-grained sulfides. And host rock. So I think that's it. We got 9 samples here that we've taken over this stretch, 4.5 meters. And that'll be good enough for us. We'll eventually send this in for analysis, but I can almost guarantee you're going to exceed 10% zinc, a couple percent lead, maybe a gram of gold, and a few ounces of silver per ton, percent copper or 2. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and some samples. We're out of here. Peace.